Yes, Prabhuji. Maybe I can. Oh, this one, Prabhuji.
You can do any song, Mataji. So just
Oh, yes, yes. Maybe I will go with the Yugala Ashtakam, Prabhuji, today.
yes, Mataji.
Yes.
And this one, the last. This one, other one, Mataji. Yeah. Krishna Prema Mahira Radha. Okay, this one. Next one. Yes, Mataji, when you're ready, Mataji, please.
Yes, Prabhuji. Krishna Premamai Radha Radha Premamayo Harihi Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatir Mama Krishna Premamai.
Radha. Is it okay, Mataji? We all follow?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Krishna Prema Radha.
Radha
Prema
Premayo
Hari Jivane
Nityam
Radha
Radha
Krishna
Krishna
Gate Mama
Krishna Premamai Radha Radha Premamayo Harihi Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatir Mama
Krishna
Krishna
Prema
Premamai
Radha
Radha
Radha Prema Mayo
Mayo
Hari
Hare
Jivane Nidhani Yam
Nityam
Radha
Radha
Krishna Gate Mama
Mama
कृष्णस्य द्रविणं राधा राधाया द्रविणं हरिः
Krishnasya Dravinam Radha Radhaya Dravinam Hari
Hare
जीवने निधने नित्यं राधाकृष्ण गतिर्मम
Jivane Nidhane
Nityam
Nityam Radha
Radha
Krishna
Krishna
Gate
Mama
Mama
कृष्ण प्राणमयी राधा राधा प्राणमयो हरिः
Krishna
Krishna Pranamayi Radha
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 Pranamayo
Pranamayi
जीवने निधने नित्यं राधाकृष्ण गतिर्मम
Jivane
Jivane Nidhane
Nityam
Nityam Radha
Radha
Krishna
Krishna
Gate Mama
Mama
कृष्ण द्रवमयी राधा राधा द्रवमयो हरिः
Krishna Dramai Radha Radha Dramayo
Mayo Hari
Hari
जीवने निधने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
Jivane
जीवने
Nidhane Nityam
नित्यं
Radha
राधा
Krishna
कृष्ण गते
Gate
मम
Mama
कृष्ण गेहे स्थिता राधा राधा गेहे स्थितो हरिः
कृष्ण
Krishna Dehe Sita Radha Radha Dehe Sito Hari
जीवने निधने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
जीवने
Jivane Nidhane
Nityam
Nityam
राधा
Krishna
गते
Gate
मम
कृष्ण चित्त स्थिता राधा राधा चित्त स्थितो हरिः
Krishna Chitta Sita Radha Radha Chitta Sito Hari
जीवने निधने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
Jivane
जीवने
Nidhane Nityam Radha
कृष्ण
Krishna
गति
Gate
मम
Mama
नीलाम्बरधरा राधा पीताम्बरधरो हरिः
Nilambaradhara Radha Pitambaradharo Hari
जीवने निधने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
Jivane Nidhane
नित्यं
Nityam
राधा
Radha
कृष्ण
Krishna
गति
Gate
मम
Mama
वृन्दावनेश्वरी राधा कृष्ण वृन्दावनेश्वरा
वृन्दावन
Vrindavaneshwari
राधा
Radha
कृष्ण
Krishna Vrindavaneshwara
वृन्दावनेश्वरा
जीवने निधने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
Jivane Nidhane Nityam
राधा
Radha
कृष्ण
Krishna
गति
Gate
मम
Mama
कृष्ण प्रेममयी राधा राधा प्रेममयो हरिः जीवने निधने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
कृष्ण
Krishna Premamayi
राधा
Radha
राधा प्रेम
Premamayo
हरि
Hari Jivane Nidhane Nityam
Radha
Krishna Hare
Mama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama
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 Rama,
Hare
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 Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Rama
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare
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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama Hare Rama
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 Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Sri Radhe.
Jaya
Jaya
Radha
Radha
Gokulananda
Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda,
Gokulananda
Radha
Radha
Gokulananda,
Gokulananda
Sri
Sri
Gokulananda
Radhe.
Jaya Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman.
Jaya
Jaya Sita
Sita
Ram
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 Lakshmana
Lakshmana
Lakshmana,
Hanuman
Hanuman
Jaya
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 Sita
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 Ram
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 Lakshmana
Lakshmana
Hanuman
Hanuman.
Jaya Radha Landaneshwar, Radha Landaneshwar, Sri Radhe.
Jaya
Jaya Radha
Landaneshwar,
Landaneshwara
Radha Landaneshwar,
Landaneshwara
Radha
Radha
Landaneshwar,
Landaneshwara
Sri
Sri
Radhe.
Jaya Radha Radha Langfordeshwar, Sri Radhe.
Jaya Radha
Radha
Landaneshwar,
Lankodeshwara
Radha Landaneshwar,
Langfordeshwar,
Radha
Radha
Kodeshwara
Radha
Langfordeshwar.
Sri
Radhe
Radhe
Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra.
Jaya
Jaya
Jagannath
Jagannatha
Jaya
Jaya
Jagannath
Jagannatha
Jaya
Jaya
Baladeva
Baladeva
Jaya
Jaya
Subhadra.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya
Jaya
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada Prabhupada
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada
Prabhupada,
Jaya
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 Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya
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 Gurudev,
Gurudev
Gurudev, Gurudev,
Gurudev Jaya
Jaya Jaya
Jaya
Gurudev.
Gurudev
Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai
Nitai Gaura
Hari
Hari Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol, Nitai Gaura
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Nittai Gaura Premanande.
Hari
Hari
Hari.
Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji. So beautiful, Mataji. Very nice. Thank you so much. Okay, can I request any leads to lead Mangalachan place so we all follow behind?
May I Prabhuji today?
Yes, Mataji, please.
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः।
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurmilitam
Chamyana Tasmai
Shri
Gurave
Gurave Namah.
श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्।
Shri Chaitanya
Chaitanya-manobhishtam
Manobhishtam
Stapitam
Stapitam
yena
Yena Bhutale
bhutale
Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam
Rupakaramahyam
Dadati
Dadati
Swapadantikam.
वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतां श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितां तां सजीवम्।
Deham Shri Guru Padakamalam Shri Guran Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam
साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च साद्वैतं
Advaitam
Sadhutam
Sadhutam
Harijana
Harijanam
Sahitam
Sahitam
Krishna
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 Chaitanya
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 Devam
Devam
Shri
Sri
Radha
Radha
Krishna
Krishna
Padam
Padam
Sahagana
Sahagana
Lalita
Lalita
Shri
Sri
Vaishnava
Vishakam
हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते।
He
हे
Krishna
Krishna
Karuna
Karna Sindho
Sindhu
Dinabandho
Dinabandho
Jagapati
Jagatpate
Gopesha
Gopesha Gopika
Gopika Kanta
Kanta
Radha
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 Kanta
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 Namostute
Namostude
तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। तप्त
Sapta Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Vishvanusute Devi
Pranamami
Hari
Hari
Priye.
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च
पतितानां
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे
नमस्ते
सरस्वती
सरस्वती
देवे
देवे
गौरवाणी
गौरवाणी प्रकारिणे
प्रचारिणे
विशेषा
शून्यवादी
देशचारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय
जय
श्री
श्री
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
चैतन्य
चैतन्य
प्रभु
प्रभु
नित्यानंद
नित्यानन्द
अद्वैता
अद्वैता गदाधर
श्रीवासादि
श्रीवासादि
गौर
गौरवृन्दा
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे
हरे हरे हरे राम
हरे
हरे
राम
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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
कृष्णा
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे
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 राम
हरे
राम
राम
हरे
हरे
राम
राम
राम राम
राम हरे
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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे
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 राम
राम
हरे
हरे
राम
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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा थैंक यू सो मच
Mataji, so beautiful.
कृष्ण माता जी
Wonderful Mataji, Hare Krishna, Jai Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vijay Mataji, Kaushalya Mataji, RadhaSevika Mataji, Lakshmi Damodar Mataji, Rajlakshmi Mataji,
Hare
Vilalika
Krishna.
Mataji, and Pranam to all of you.
Dandavat
Shri
Pranam.
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna dear devotees. Please can I accept my humble obeisances or go to Srila Prabhupada. Very beautiful, both Mataji, very soothing.
Relishing, every word is relishing to hear and respond instantly.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Hare Krishna dear devotees. Beautiful kirtan and beautiful Mangalachan prayers, Mataji's.
Okay, so can I request again, anyone would like to lead this one? Chaitanya Charitamrita prayers as well.
Shall I try, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Vande Guru Isha Bhaktan
Vande Gurun Isha
ईश
Bhaktan
भक्तान्
Isham Ishavataran
Isham Ishavatarakam
भक्तान्
तत्प्रकाशं च तच्छक्तिः कृष्णचैतन्यसंज्ञकम्
Krishna Chaitanya Samnakam
वन्दे श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य
Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya
नित्यानन्दौ सहोदितौ
नित्यानन्दौ सहोदितौ
गौरोदये पुष्पवन्तौ
गौरोदये पुष्पवन्तौ
चित्रौ सन्धौ तमोनुधौ
चित्रौ सन्धौ तमोनुधौ
यद् अद्वैतं ब्रह्मोपनिषदि तद् अपि अस्य तनुभा
Advaita
ब्रह्मोपनिषदि
Brahmopanishadi
तस्य तनुभा
य आत्मानन्तर्यामि पुरुष इति सोऽश्यामस विभवः
Ya Atma Karyami Purusha Iti So Asam Samvibhava
सदैश्वर्यः पूर्णो य इह भगवान् स स्वयम् अयम्
पूर्णो यः इह
Purno
भगवान्
Yaisha Bhagavan
स्वयमयम्
Sa Swayam Aryan
न चैतन्यात् कृष्णात् जगति परतत्त्वं परम् इह
Chaitanya Krishna Jagati
परम् इह
Param
अनर्पितचारिं चिरात् कारुण्यावतारिणः कालौ
Pitacharim Chirata Karunya
समर्पयितं मुन्नतोज्ज्वलरसं स्वभक्तिश्रियम्
समर्पयितो ज्वलरसं स्वभक्तिश्रियम्
Swayam
हरिः पुराता सुन्दरद्युतिकादम्बसन्दीपितः
Purata Sundara Yuti Kadamba Sanditaha
सदा हृदयकन्धरे स्मृतौ वासचिनन्दनः
दयकन्दरे
Sundara Yuti
स्फुरतु वः सच्चिदानन्दः
विकृतर्हालादिनी शक्तिरस्मात्
Krishna Anaya
प्रणयादिनी शक्तिरस्मात्
Shakti Ashmat
एकत्मानौ अपि भुवि पुरा देहभेदं गतौ तौ
एकात्मानौ अपि भुवि पुरा देहभेदं गतौ तौ
चैतन्याख्ययं प्रकटम् अधुना तद्वयं चैख्यमहम्
Chaitanyam
यं प्रकटं मधुरं तद्वयं चैकमहं
राधा भावद्युति सुवालितं नौमि कृष्णस्वरूपम्
Krishna Swarupam
श्रीराधायाः प्रणयमहिमा कीदृशो वनया इव
Mahima Idrisho
स्वध्यो येन भूता मधुरिमा कीदृशो वा मदीयः
Swadhyena Bhuta
मधुरिमा कीदृशो
Madhurya
सौख्यं चास्य अनुभवतः कीदृशं वेति लोभात्
Yam
मदनुभवतः कीदृशं वेति लोभात्
तद्भावाद्यः समाजानि साचिगर्भा सिन्धौ हरीन्दुः
समजनीत गर्भसिन्धौ हरिन्दुः
पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णम् भक्तरूपस्वरूपकम् भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्याम् नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्
Namami Bhakti
जय जय श्रीचैतन्य जय नित्यानन्द
Jaya
Jai
Jaya
Shri
Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
जय अद्वैता चन्द्र जय गौरभक्तवृन्द
Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
नमो महावदन्याय
Mahavadanyaya
कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते
Krishna Prema
Pradayate
कृष्णचैतन्याय
Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya
नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः
नामे
Gauratishe Namaha
कृष्णवर्णं द्विषा कृष्णम्
कृष्णवर्णं
Krishna Krishna
सङ्गोपङ्गास्त्रपरासधम्
Tango Pandastra Parsadam
यज्ञैः सङ्कीर्तना प्रयैर्
Yagnai Sankirtana
यजन्ति हि सुमेधशः
Yajanti Sumedasaha
सुवर्णवर्णो हेमाङ्गो Varnangaschandhanagati Sanyasakruchamah Santho Vista Santi Parayanaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yupatam Aham Vande Paramananda Madhavam
Sri Gurum Dinatarinam
Sri
Shri Krishna Chaitanyamishwaram
Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Thank you so much, Rajalakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, thank you for giving me the opportunity, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Okay, so that one, all Mangalachari prayers are done. So shall we move to next is third topic, teachings of Lord Chaitanya, chapter 10. Okay, so we got RadhaSevika Mataji joined. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everybody. Please accept my humble obeisances. Worship glories to Srila Prabhupada. Such beautiful kirtan and prayers. Thank you so much.
Mataji, so we are in this chapter where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining about the still Atma Rama verse. So I think we have gone up to here. And then we need to continue from here.
The verse, Prabhu.
This paragraph, Mataji. So this is
The word.
Yes.
Okay. The word Atma also means this body. The yogis who practice bodily exercises, considering the body to be the self, are also elevated to the transcendental service of the Lord if they associate with pure devotees. There are many people who believe the body to be the self, and they are engaged in many fruitive activities, including bathing rituals and ordinary worldly activities. But when they come in contact with a pure devotee, they also engage in the transcendental service of the Lord. So, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, so this body that is sometimes referred to as the Atma, the soul. So the body is a temple in which the Paramatma resides. So when we look at some of these, especially from South India mainly, they, like when we look at things like Ayurvedic practices, etc., they will worship the body. So when they're doing things like healing, they'll pray to the body because the Paramatma resides in the body. They will, and even when we do things like tilakam, basically where we are putting tilak and with the mantra onto the body, because the body is a temple. The body is given to us by Krishna, or material prakriti, and and it holds the essence, it holds the soul, the Paramatma inside it. So therefore, the body is often referred to as the temple, and it's part and parcel of Krishna. So when Krishna enters into each and every single atom, as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, in each and every atom, he also Shirodaksha Vishnu, sorry, he enters into each and every single particle and each and every single atom. So clearly the body is also part of that, that also. So, you know, we see yogis, they practice bodily exercises. And obviously there's so much written about this. So if we look at Bhagavad Gita, when we look at, especially in chapter 6, there's so much about dhyana yoga, and being able to, you know, like fix one's breath at the point, you know, between the eyes, and also the yoga that's taken for the bodily, and there is purification. Even Krishna says that there is a level of purification. It's obviously very hard to do that when they're, you know, like they're working on all their chakras, and they're doing certain exercises to elevate. So they're like stopping breath at a certain point, and so obviously not only does it keep the body fit and healthy, but it actually has a lot of benefit. It's very difficult, which Krishna says also in chapter 6. It's difficult to do these bodily exercises. It's much easier to focus on bhakti, because, you know, you're keeping these poses. You know, sometimes we see these yogis, obviously sometimes even just standing on their heads, or they're just doing, or they're just meditating in some sort of posture. It's very difficult, especially if you're going to keep your focus. But nevertheless, there is some benefit. There's a lot of benefit to it. And sometimes it can, you know, bhakti yoga in itself is exclusive. Like, you don't need to do anything other than bhakti yoga. You don't need to do anything separately. But clearly there is benefits of there's benefits of doing like bodily yoga, even for just health and well-being. There's lots and lots of benefits of it. So as Prabhu's just put up, Arjuna Vacha yo ayam yogas Tavaya proktaha samyena madhusudana etasya tham na pasyami chanchalatvat stitim shri stiram. So Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. So even, you know, someone like a warrior like Arjuna, who physically is very strong, and, you know, clearly, like as an archer, he would have had to probably do a lot of physical training, especially, you know, when he was in the ashram of Dronacharya, but especially to control the mind. So if we think of the word yoga or mantra means to free the mind. So we use mantra to free the mind, because the mind is always attaching to something or another. Like, even if you just sit in meditation, you just focus on your third eye point, eventually like thoughts will come in. And Krishna himself says it's more difficult. Arjuna says it's more difficult to control the wind. I'm sorry, it's easier to control the wind than it is to control the mind. The mind can be sitting here and thinking about hundreds and hundreds of other things. The mind, even in our japa, the mind could be like, our mind, you know, our mouth is going Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And we're sincerely trying to like fix our mind on the Lord. And that, even that, it's not easy. It's through deep meditation and lots of prayer that even that our mind will stay focused on the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. But that just saying the Hare Krishna mantra is much easier than just sitting there in meditation, not saying anything, or even like just focusing at the heart center and focusing on Lord Vishnu. I know one devotee, he just at the beginning he just tried that, like he just tried to stay in meditation and just focus on his heart center and just try and focus on the meditation of Lord Vishnu. And even that, he said it was difficult. Chanting, on the other hand, there is some magic behind that. There's a lot more magic behind that, because eventually that does free our mind quite quickly. And if we do chant with focus and love and devotion, that then it's much easier to focus on Krishna and chant. Whereas, like this verse describes, the system of mysticism described by Krishna to Arjuna, beginning with the words Suchaha Dese and ending with a yogi parama maha, is here rejected by Arjuna out of the feeling of inability. So he's actually saying, Krishna, this is just too difficult for me. It's just not practical. So yeah, we see these amazing yogis doing amazing things, and yes, they do have some bodily. I mean, it would be incorrect to say that it doesn't have some sort of bodily, even if it helps just get rid of stress or disease or something, it does have some benefit, but it's just impractical. You can't always do it. Like how many times, like even if you practice some sort of physical yoga, how long are you going to be able to maintain it for? Like maybe 1 hour maximum. Whereas if you do chanting, that's something that you can do all the time. And even within your within your service, you can continue to chant the holy name. It is not possible for an ordinary man to leave home and go to a secluded place in the mountains. So in chapter 6, there's this verse that, you go and sit on this lion cloth and you just go and meditate to get rid of all these worldly thoughts that we have. But that's just not possible. Like, how many people can just go in the mountains and meditate? Of course, there are people that do that. Don't get me wrong. There are, because I've seen, I've been to some of these mountains where, especially previous sages have meditated. We went to, I think in Rishikesh or just above Rishikesh, we went to some of these, like Vashisht, like Lord Ram's teachers, ashram, like really ancient sages. They did used to do meditation, but that was a different time. The people were a lot more purer, and people could go into jungles and caves. Like even if we go to Orissa, you have what's it called? Giri something. And then there's just caves and caves there of eventually people that sadhus that meditated in those caves, and eventually they achieved some sort of realization. But in this age of Kali, this is just not practical. This is a very degraded age, and the only thing that really works in this age is Harinam. So the present age is characterized by bitter struggle for a life of short duration. So even in Bhagavatam, it says people are just short-lived now. Like even if you think the previous people in the different yugas, they used to live for, like Krishna he said they lived for 125 years, and even more than that. And they were able to, due to their devotion and their spiritual practices. They say that as Kali Yuga progresses, the age of a person is going to be no more than I think it's 24 or 12 or something. It's very short age. And it talks about this degradation of attitudes, where literally, people will, the Srila Prabhupada says there's going to be devotion for the next 10,000 years. After that, it's going to even be difficult to chant Lord's name. What the yugas are going, the end of Kali is going to the end of Kali Yuga is going to be a very difficult time. People will eat people. It's just horrible things have been said about it. There won't be any kind of familial or family relationships. It's going to be a very degraded age. It's only the age of bhakti that, and the reason we're so fortunate is because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because in this yoga is the easiest way, just by Harinam. We don't have to do all these exercises or all this meditation, which is merely impossible, or go to the jungle. Just by Harinam, we're very fortunate in this age. So even though it is the most degraded age, the fact that we know about this, and this is one of the reasons Srila Prabhupada is so, he says that we're always in Maya, and he's so determined to save as many souls as possible through the chanting of Harinam, because Harinam takes us out of Kali Yuga. So the present age is characterized by bitter struggle for a life of short duration. People are not serious about self-realization, even by simple practical means. And what to speak of this difficult yoga system, which regulates the mode of living, the manner of sitting, selection of place, and detachment of the mind from material engagements. As a practical man, Arjuna thought it was impossible to follow the system of yoga, even though he was favorably endowed in many ways. He belonged to the royal family and was highly elevated in terms of numerous qualities. He was a great warrior. He had great longevity, and above all, he was the most intimate friend of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 5,000 years ago, Arjuna had much better facilities than we do now, yet he refused to accept this system of yoga. In fact, we do not find any record in history of his practicing it at any time. Therefore, the system must be considered generally impossible in this age of Kali. Of course, it may be possible for some very few rare men, but for people in general, it is an impossible proposal. If this were so 5,000 years ago, then what of the present day? Those who are imitating this yoga system is different so-called schools and societies. Although complacent, they are certainly wasting the time. They are completely in ignorance of the desired goal. So the desired goal that Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here is that we achieve love of Godhead. Now through chanting and I think as the verse goes on in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, it becomes clear that it's the chanting that will help us to get that love of Godhead. But in those other forms of exercise, like I say, it is probably good for maintaining a good bodily system, and that being healthy then helps our Krishna consciousness, clearly would. But it's not. Bhakti yoga can be done without all of this anyway. Like even it can be performed regardless of this. And within that, I think it was one of those Patanjali people. He said that when we are chanting, naturally our chakras and everything is becoming balanced anyway. Our prana, apana. So we have all these different systems within our body, and they're all actually regulating just by chanting the holy name. We are doing they call it pranayam, and all of that is happening because of the chanting of the holy name. So yes, there is clear benefits to the body system. And we need, and Srila Prabhupada always said health, sadhana, service. And therefore we should, I think, to a certain degree, we need to maintain our health, because that does help. If our health is good, our mind is clear, and therefore we can actually do our service to the best of our ability. And then obviously if we fall unwell, then obviously that is going to have an impact on our service. But the chanting of the holy name is regardless. And if Arjuna found this difficult, Arjuna, like I say, he's a warrior. He's one of the, not only is he the top warrior, he's also a friend of Krishna. If he himself is saying, look, this is impossible, this is impractical, what to then speak of us? If Arjuna is saying that, then we are kind of nobody. And therefore, yes, there is some benefit to it. Like Srila Prabhupada said, that very few people can do it, but you have to be very, very highly elevated. But even then, like, if you're not tasting the love of Krishna, so if you think of like Madhavendra Puri, if you're not tasting that love, like, oh, I want to, my Gopal is hot, let me get some chandan for him. If you're not experiencing that taste of just attaching to that deity of Krishna, or feeling that love for Krishna, then actually what is the point of all those other things anyway? Yes, they are going to enhance our quality of life 100%. Like, there's the benefits of just even basic exercise is so huge for like mental health and our body, and undoubtedly there are like physical benefits. Even if you think about in the gyms, so they have like body, mind, soul. So they start from the body, and then that improves their mind, and in essence that strengthens their soul. So they're starting with the body, whereas in our way of working, we start with the soul. So if we start with chanting, then that impacts our mind, and naturally our body follows. So maybe we're working in a different way, but like it says here, the word Atma also means the body. So they say that we have we have this physical body, but then we also have like 5 other, we have like more subtle bodies. So even when we think about illnesses and stuff, they say that illness doesn't start from the body, it comes in from like our soul, or actually they say some people are so thingy, and they say that we invite illness into our body. Maybe it's not even karma, but for some reason we've invited that. So first it comes into our soul, and then it affects our body. So if we always work at the soul level, if we keep our aura, and we have like 5, even in it says that we have 5 different types of bodies, and then so we have the physical and then the more subtle bodies. If we keep them at high vibration, at Krishna conscious vibration, if we're always chanting Lord's name, and obviously we're connecting then to the spiritual, then there is also a benefit that we will feel from that. It's not always the case, because the other thing is that when we're chanting, also our anarthas are being released as well. So that's a different thing. But yes, our body is referred to also as Atma. And this thing about, even if we're doing all these things, we can never ever feel pleasure unless we are talking about Krishna. The highest level of joy can only come in the association of a pure devotee of the Lord. So when we come in contact with pure devotees, obviously most of us are initiated here. If not, we have some experience of coming in contact with pure devotees that are very, very focused deeply in their devotion to Krishna. Now, when we come in contact with them, because their soul is so pure, and because their relationship, they've really worked on it, they've deepened it, we also get the benefit of that, and then we will feel like there's a change in us. So when we don't associate with pure devotees, then we can feel like we're going back to our normal self. But when in contact with the pure devotee, we will naturally feel upliftment, because we get the benefit of their Shuddh Bhakti as well. And then, and in that respect, we can experience that level of bliss. And it's only if someone has bhakti in their heart, they can give you bhakti. if someone does, you can only give someone what you have. So if you have money, then you can give someone money. If you have food, you can give someone food. If you have knowledge, you can give someone knowledge. But only when you have love and devotion, only when you connect to someone that has love and devotion, they can pass that on. In the olden days, Bhagavatam, they could just, they would hear it, they would remember it, because there was purity between the souls. Now we're so contaminated with so many other things. But in the past, just the transition, even if someone looked at you, they would be able to pass that bhakti on to you, because that's their bhakti, they're transferring it into you. And so it's really it's really important that we associate with your devotees of the Lord that are just transcendently situated, so that they are absorbed in Krishna consciousness, and then they are able to give us that Krishna consciousness also. And then there's always change that happens. You can't help but be changed in the presence of a pure devotee. A pure devotee can radiate so much, even all the space they're in, like miles and miles. Everybody is benefiting from that pure devotee. So when like Srila Prabhupada is like, he's here, so many people is benefiting from that, because everyone then becomes elevated. There are many people who believe the body to be the self, and they are engaged in many fruitive activities. So even though we know all these things, sadly, we still sometimes engage in these fruitive activities. And unfortunately, sometimes it is just a survival thing that, it's not that even we want to be, but eventually, like in Bhagavad Gita, there are slow steps to move away from fruitive activities. So even if we work with the intention, like Krishna says, he gives us different grades in so many different chapters of, what is, how we get slowly more and more purified. So if we can't completely fix our mind on Krishna, then we can work for Krishna. If we can't work, we can think of it. He gives us so many different steps, just so that eventually we come out of these karma kanda activities, and eventually we just get to that state where it is just pure devotional service. And pure devotional service can be it's not just that it has to be bodily, it can be in the mind, mansi seva, and that's actually a bit higher level. So we see like these sages, sometimes they're just sitting there and they're just meditating. I'm gonna cook sweet rice for my Lord, I'm gonna make it with this, I'm gonna make it with that, and then he's gonna come and sit in front of me. He's just going to have this lovely sweet rice that I prepared for him. And they're just talking about it, even if we can't physically do it. Mansi Seva is actually higher, that we're just thinking about, what can we do? How can we dress the Lord today? How can we please the Lord today? What can we do? And all these things, eventually our mananam becomes strong, and we're constantly thinking about Krishna then, and then we are in Krishna consciousness, even if our body is doing all sorts of other things. Actually, because the mind is fixed on Krishna, then that's a higher level of devotional service. I think Bubbles put something up. So my eva manna adasvaha mai buddhim niveshaya Nivashishyasi mai eva atha udharvam na samshaya. So just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all of your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. Atha chitam samadhatum na saknoshi mai stiram abhayasya yogena tato mam ipchatum dhananjaya. So this is the way he brings us all into which level we are at. So my dear Arjuna, a winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. So even just thinking, it's so powerful. Abhayasa api asamarthosi mad karma paramo bhava mad artham api karmani kurvan siddhim avapshasi. So if you cannot practice the regulation of Bhakti Yoga, so even if you can't practice the regulation, then just try and work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So eventually, this is like a ladder. We can start where we want, and then eventually, just by doing one of these, we will be able to essentially elevate ourselves. Athaitat apyasaktosi kartamad yogamashritah sarva karma phalatyagam tataha guru yatahatvan. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up the results of your work and try to be self-situated. So again, another way, if we can't even think of, he's giving us another step that we can still engage. He doesn't leave anybody out, and that's why I think Krishna is so great. Trayo hi jnanam abhasya saj jnanadhan jnanam visishyate dhayanat karma phala tyagas tyagat shantir anantaram. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of actions. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So again, these are like I say, it's like we have to start somewhere, and Krishna's giving all these different ways. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karunaya vicha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukha shama shami santushta satatam yogi yatatam ma rita nishchayaha may arpita mano buddhi yo mad bhakta same priyaha. So eventually, when we do all these amazing activities, or even one of these activities, even if it's a little bit, and Krishna is pleased, Krishna is so kind. I think this is all, I know we read this chapter 12, maybe we read this quite a lot in, this is one of the shorter verses, and it's one of the most sweetest devotional services. So Krishna's actually telling us the kind of person he likes. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend of all living entities, who does not think himself as a proprietor, and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied. This is such a deep verse, and we can maybe talk about this, and this will take ages. Self-controlled and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and his intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. So again, Krishna telling us what he wants from us, non-envious. So even at the beginning, it says Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna because Arjuna was non-envious. He does not envy Krishna. He's a friend of Krishna. And we also have to be a friend of Krishna if we want to understand what Krishna is telling us. And this point of not being envious, the whole reason, unfortunately, sadly, we have this material existence is because we envied Krishna. We wanted to be God, and therefore we find ourselves in a material situation, because Krishna is so kind and caring, he's created this material world for us so that we can be the enjoyer. But eventually we want to move into the spiritual world, and therefore one of the main qualities is that we're not to be envious and a kind friend to all living entities. This is difficult. All living entities, this means humans, animals, plants, trees, all of nature. And so therefore it's not you know, it's easy to say, hard to do. And not think of himself as a proprietor. When we understand that everything belongs to Krishna, Isha principle, and I said this a lot to my students at school as well, like they're doing, you know, if I teach economics, and I'm like, you know, they think, oh, everything is just there and it's just got no rhythm or rhyme to it. But no, if we understand everything belongs to Krishna, then naturally our behavior towards everything, you know, if we have a building, we're going to actually know that this all of this comes from Krishna. So what is mine anyway? We can say, okay, we'll build a temple for Krishna and that's our house. Fine, we're doing it for Krishna. But if we really look at things, when people are like, oh, this is me, this is my huge amounts of businesses, or, you know, all the stuff we see in this modern world, you know, actually those people are you know, they think that they're the proprietor. Like they build a building, and they think that they own it. They don't understand that the intelligence to build the building came from Krishna. The materials are from, you know, Mother Nature. The whole, you know, like I said, everything comes from Krishna, but they still think themselves a proprietor. So when we make a drawing, like even you ask the child, they're like, this is my drawing, I made this. So they understand that they are the creator of that picture. In the same way, the ultimate creator of this whole universe, this whole world is Krishna. Now, people fail to be able to see that because they think, oh no, a picture can have a creator, but oh, this world is just, you know, Big Bang Theory, or it just existed. They don't see the proprietor behind that. A lot of atheist people, they don't see that there is a divine hand in all of that. Until you point out, you know, sometimes, you know, all this stuff is not just a coincidence. And this is a very dangerous situation to be in. And maybe through yoga, sometimes people do feel like they're the owners of everything. They have this ego of I'm the proprietor, it's mine. And this free from false ego. So here, false ego just relates to the fact that, you know, I'm a daughter, I'm a son, I'm a husband, I'm a wife, I'm a teacher, I'm a computer person. These are all false designations. They're just labels that we've given ourselves. Our real ego is that we are seven of Krishna. So once we are free from all these designations and we just act on the platform of, it doesn't matter which role we're playing, because the role is assigned to us. If I'm a daughter, that's my role. It's not that I can run away from it. I have to perform it. It's my, you know, that's what's been given to me. If you're a father, you have to play that role. You can't run away from it. But it's with the understanding that I'm the servant of Krishna. And then you can play that role much better. If we think that, oh, I'm just this or that, then we can play the role anyhow. It's only when we attach ourselves to Krishna, we understand that everything is linked to Krishna, and as are we, then we work from our real ego, which is Satchitananda. So we have all the knowledge, we have all the truth within us and around us. We have all knowledge, we're all knowing, and we are full of bliss, we're full of ananda. So once we reach that stage, then we can act from a place. So I think Kanya Mataji might be on this call, but when I see her doing book distribution, she's acting from a higher place. She's not acting from her body. She's not acting from her, like her general, you know, that she's a mother or whatever. She's acting from a higher place. She's engaging people and she's being on a spiritual level. Like she understands, I'm doing book distribution, I'm doing this for however she thinks. But at that level, then she's moved away from her false ego and she's acting from a place of real ego. So, you know, these are sometimes when we see devotees, that is kind of easy to sometimes see when someone's acting from a level of just their bodily concept, or if they've risen above it and then they're acting from a place of Krishna consciousness. They're acting from, okay, I'm a servant of Krishna. How am I going to make this situation Krishna conscious? Or how am I going to bring Krishna into this? Or what behavior of me is expected here, and then from that link, then our actions. So like when we have like Janmashtami festival, like everybody is like always so happy, and because Krishna is in the center. When we put Krishna in the center and we all work around Krishna, if I'm trying to please Krishna and next person is trying to please Krishna and that person is trying to please Krishna and then the other person, then we're all doing, and then we all feel this bliss that's multiplied and multiplied. But it's when we act from a place of ego, like, why am I doing worse than that person? Or once we bring it back to that level of bodily consciousness, then everything kind of falls apart. And we're equal both in happiness and distress. And again, this is so difficult. Happiness and distress, and we act the same. So if something happy is happening, we don't happy. If something sad is happening to us, we don't become too distressed. And we're just equal, we're neutral. And this is where the equanimity happens, balance happens. And actually that's harder than we think, because it's easy to be elated when you're happy and is dejected when you're upset. That's just so natural to us. But then when we work on these qualities, eventually we just become neutral. And then we can see, like, somebody that's neutral, we look at them and we'll think, oh, so there's something so special about this person, because they don't get disturbed. Like whatever is happening, like Haribol, good, bad, whatever, like they're above that. They've risen above that, those stages. So and pure devotees, certainly they have Krishna and they're able to give, and they engaged in many. So we talk about fruitive activities, including bathing rituals and ordinary worldly activities. So bathing rituals here, I'm assuming that this means maybe going to different, maybe bathing in certain rivers, but that's quite purifying. But there might be some other bathing rituals. And then ordinary worldly activities. So, so many times Srila Prabhupada said in his purports, like, don't become like a philanthropist, and don't become like, because the nature of the soul is such that once it hits kind of like more those self-realization eras, then what happens is that it wants to come back and wants to do good activity. I want to open up a school, I want to open up a hospital, because it can see the connection between everyone. And it understands Paramatma is residing in everyone and that we should uplift everybody. But it's not through these ordinary activities. So, Srila Prabhupada is very specific that Krishna consciousness is different from, doing all these major. Of course, it's amazing when, someone opens up a hospital, or, you have like this, like all these people that are blind, and all of a sudden someone goes and fixes their vision. Of course, I mean, that's huge. That's going to make a huge impact on the person's life. But that's not what Srila Prabhupada is asking us, not about worldly. It's about the soul. It's about the relationship to Krishna. It's about that inner vision, inner sight. But when they come in contact with the pure devotee, they also engage in transcendental service of the Lord. So again, when we come in contact with the pure devotee, because of their sadhana, their power of the sadhana, especially if initiated, like most of us will feel the power of our guru. Sometimes we just think, oh, we haven't got the ability to do this. But just through their mercy, just through Krishna's mercy, eventually, like, we're able to do certain things that we thought that we'd never be able to do. And he gives us the ability to serve him. He gives us the knowledge, the understanding to actually serve him. So even though we are in this world, we have to be in the world, but not of it. Like, yes, we have to be here because, until we finish our karma off, or until Krishna says, otherwise, we have to still perform our part here. There's no running away from it. Like, you have to still It's only when everything, your karma, everything comes to a kind of standstill, that then you can go back to Krishna. And we're being prepared also for Krishna's kingdom, where, you know, certainly like qualities that, you know, Krishna speaks of in a more negative way, like envy, and, you know, that when we've actually got rid of envy, we've actually got rid of this and that. And so this is like a practice ground, especially whilst we're in Krishna consciousness. It's a practice ground. If we're not in Krishna consciousness, then we're a long way. But if we're in Krishna consciousness, we're gonna slowly get better and better. And then they say even in the spiritual world, as you're going towards Krishna, some people who come in your life, they will help you further your devotion. And they'll help you with whatever service that is designated to you in the spiritual world. So I'm going to leave it at that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So very beautifully explained. Thank you so much, Mataji. Yeah, Krishna Katha, it is always taking us to different world. Very beautiful. Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. So maybe we shall open the floor for question and answers and comments and reflections. Thank you so much. Okay, so dear devotees, if you have got any questions or any comments or reflections, kindly ask, kindly share. Okay, we'll start with Jai Mataji.
Krishna Mataji, so beautifully explained. You spend so much time thoroughly explaining each and all the philosophy of the Hare Krishna movement, chanting, and just devotional service, how it's so important. And I like the examples you used. So no, I have got no questions. But you know, I like the bit when you said, you know, always do the manana, and then we should always keep Krishna in center, and then that will help us. So thank you so much. I have no questions.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, Kaushalya Mataji.
Thanks, Mataji. It was well narrated and brought out lots of points saying what vision is really important, is the soul that matters. Thank you very much, Mataji. I have no questions at this point, but it was so lovely. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. Lakshmi Damodar Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have no questions. It was, yes, very nicely indeed explained. What connected with me was, you know, being a servant of Krishna rather than doing any other worldly service. So thank you very much.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So it is servant of Krishna. Gobi Bhatta Padakamalayo Das 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 Dasam Das. Okay, that is what Krishna says, that he is his real devotee. Who says that he is my devotee? He is not my really my devotee. Who is a devotee of my devotee, like that? Devotee of devotee, they are real devotees. That is Krishna's statements to. Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. Very nice comments. Of course, you mean that one only. Thank you so much. Okay, Rajalakshmi Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for the wonderful session, Mataji. Very nicely explained. And no questions, Mataji. Thanks a lot, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Gaurangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna RadhaSevika Mataji. Thank you for nice class, Mataji. I don't have a question. Thank you. You come again and again, Mataji. We can hear with you. So nice. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful, very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Bridget Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Mataji, thank you so much for this wonderful session. I really liked the way you explained everything. I have no questions, just maybe to the point out the things I most you say that the chanting regulates our energy too, so it
Yeah.
affects has effects in our body and our subtle bodies. So it was very beautiful for me to hear this because of course we try for example to take care of our body and our mental health and our emotions and all these things that are part of us as human beings. So it's very beautiful to remember that chanting is also very powerful, that helps us to elevate our energy, and maybe it has effects in our physical body too, and our emotions and all our things that are part of us. So thank you for that. And yeah, I think that's I really like that's the most I liked about everything, but everything was beautiful. So thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Very
you.
beautiful. Very nice. So now the statement from Bhagavatam. Ya nirutitana bhutam tava pada padma dhyana bhavajana kata shravanena vasyat. Sa brahmani so mahimanyini natama bho kintvantaka lulitam vimanam patitat. So here Dhruva Maharaj prayer. The devotees, they speak Krishna Katha, they discuss and in such a way they absorb, and the pleasure they derive, it is more than Brahmananda. Ya niruti tanubhutam tavapada padma dhyana bhavajana katha shravanena vasyat. Sa brahmani swa mahimanyini nata ma bhot. It does not even compare to the Brahmananda. The pleasure one is derives from hearing Krishna Katha and discussing those topics. So Dhruva Maharaj, he in his praise to the Lord, he mentions Kintu antaka silulitam padatam vimana, and everything else, it will fall down. Any other so here we are coming together and hearing Krishna Katha. That transcend, this is called spiritual asset, accumulation of spiritual assets. This one, it would not produce any matter. It will produce only the spiritual assets, which are eternal, which we carry with ourselves wherever we travel. Okay, and this is, it comes with only pure devotees association. Okay, bhakti muhu pravatam tvaime prasango bhuyadananta mahatam amalashayanam yet abjana bhavadiya padhara vinda. So he says, Enanda solabhanam uruvyasanam bhavabhim nyese bhaguna katamrita panamattaha. Nyese bhaguna katamrita panamattaha. Hearing Krishna Katha, one will be intoxicated. In that intoxication time, he doesn't know what is happening, but unknowingly he will cross all the materialness signs. In such a way, he mentions, and one more statement, anyone come in contact with the devotees, Tena smarinti atitaram premisha matya ye chanudaha sutta suhrud gruha vittadaraha ye abjana bhavadiya padharavinda sauganjalu bruhriye sukruta prasangaha. Devotees, if anyone comes in contact with the devotees, Tena smaranti atitaram premisha matyam ye chanvata sutta suhrud gruha vittadaraha. If one comes, then what happens? His family, his children, wife, home, and all his family, he will forget. He does not worry about it. Tena smaranti aditaram premishimatyam ye chanvataha sutta suhrud gruhavittadhara. Te na smaranti, he will not remember any of his relatives anymore, because he is come in contact with the devotees. He will attentively hear Krishna Katha. In such a way, etu abjanaba bhavadiya padharavinda Saugandhalubdha Hrudayesu Purna Prasangaha. Saugandhalubdha. It is very blossoming and very fragrant from his heart when he speaks, the devotees of the Lord. Saugandhal Lubdha Hrudayeshu Kruta Prasangaha. And that prasanga, it comes like it attracts the heart. We do not want to miss even a single word from hearing from the pure devotees of the Lord. In such a way, Etobjhanabha Bhavadiya Aravinda. We hold the lotus feet of the Lord and cross this material very easily. That is the power of pure devotees. Very beautiful reflections. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we shall move to the other devotees to hear from Gayatri Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna RadhaSevika Mataji, wonderful session as always. Very nice Mataji. Actually, yeah, you have explained so nicely that when we come into devotional service, when we come into Krishna consciousness especially, it feels like, oh, we should get detached from the worldly things and completely like family or anything, but that is not what Krishna is telling. He is asking us to do our duties properly, but not to get too much attached and keep going, and we become more loving and affectionate towards everybody, because we know now Paramatma is existing in each and everyone. So it very nicely explained, Mataji. I just had one question, like when why we all are coming from love is such a natural thing, right? We all are coming from Krishna, and we know that love is such a natural thing that is there. But why do many people have so much problem just to love someone, Mataji? Like why, or just to like someone, or just to love in a normal way? Like they can even like dogs and cats, but not a neighbor, for example, or they can love something else, but they cannot love the humans who are.
Yeah,
Why is this
amazing
happening?
question. That is such an amazing question. I think it's because we are in the material world, so everything, like Krishna says, everything is upside down here. So it's a reflection of the spiritual world. So what is the highest there is the lowest here. And this is Dukhalaya. Material world is supposed to give us some dissatisfaction. So eventually, especially as devotees, you will see even more than maybe another usual person, is because Krishna is trying to take our attachment away. It's not that, it's because we are misdirecting our love. The love is meant to be for Krishna. Once we love Krishna, then loving everything in relation to him, like I say, so say you have like a child. If you see that child as this is my child, that child is going to cause you misery because you've attached to that child as yours. But once you see that this child is a soul that's been born into my house, then you will see it with proper eyes, and then you will love that child in a different way. Then you will attach that child back to Krishna, you will elevate them, and then the loving relationship becomes like, even if you just think about all of us now, yeah, there's more love between us because we're talking about Krishna, we're all trying to like help each other on their journey. But in other relationships, because somehow we want something material from them, whether that's some satisfaction from them, or we want some joy from them, or we want, it's just misdirected. It's not. So we are, love is, they say love is all you need. And we obviously want to enjoy those relationships that we have. And like you say, it becomes so difficult. And I think just even on a mundane platform, it's so difficult to trust human beings. It's easier for, some people find it easier to trust a dog or a cat, and show their affection, because the dog and the cat is not going to be able to, it doesn't have kind of the ability to harm another in that way, where human beings, because it is, unfortunately, is because of conditioning, if it, especially if a person has been, you know, you've heard the saying, hurt people. So if someone's been hurt in the past, or it's basic just like psychology, but if someone's been hurt in the past, then when they come into relationships, especially husband-wife relationships, the anartha straight away opens. So they become mirror of each other. So until the point where they actually realize that that's all they're doing, is they're triggering each other's weak spots and the blind spots, and the until they come out of that, and then they're acting from a place of love, that's when the love will happen. It's because we're so stuck in those lower, so especially in the husband-wife relationship is perfect in this, because their karma becomes joint, so that they think that they're going to have this amazing relationship, but as soon as they get married, whatever's sitting inside that spouse is going to start coming out. So if that spouse in their childhood or in their previous thing, they didn't get love and affection from it normally starts from parents. If they didn't get that love and affection, they're going to think that the husband and wife is supposed to be providing that maternal or that paternal relationship, but then the husband and wife has a different relationship. So straight away, it's because they haven't like deconditioned, not deconditioned isn't the right word, but they haven't done the inward journey. And if you chant, when the anarthas are coming out, after the anarthas are going, then you're going into your conditioning, and then that's being released as well. So and then our purer relationship with Krishna then becomes, it opens up more, and then when we connect more to Krishna, then other relationships will naturally become easier, because we're not doing it from place of attachment. So even if you look at the basic, even if you look at whose story, Dhruv Maharaj's story, you know, he wants to sit on the lap of his father. There's so much psychology behind this, and actually Bhagavatam has got more than anything, even modern psychology. So he's saying he wants to sit on the lap of the father, and his stepmother is saying, Sunichi, I think, she's saying no. She's saying no, because you're not born from my womb. Straight away, she's putting that samskara in him, that, you know, of jealousy, of envy, of, you know, why you're not born from me. He's seeing himself different. And if you think about what mothers and fathers, unfortunately, have put into that child, it could be from, I don't know, it could be from relatives, anyone, even in this life, that anartha then becomes a wound inside the. So like with Dhruva, it became a wound until he then chanted Lord's name, and then he got that wound out of him. When he saw the Lord, that's when he realized that, oh, you know, this is all rubbish. And, you know, it's the Lord that I'm looking for. But that's the process we go through. And this loving relationship, we want love. It's to love and be loved actually comes from Krishna. You know, Krishna, he doesn't, I mean, he is Atmaram, he doesn't need anybody else. But to experience relationship, he then, you know, expands into the different into like Balram and the Vishnu Tattvas and Radha, you know, he expands himself to experience relationship. And it's exactly what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling us as well, that he wants to still understand, what is it that my devotee feels for me? So he wants to understand, but that level, that sweetness, because it's spiritual, because it is Krishna, and it's in relation to Krishna. Our problem is that we're looking for it outside of Krishna. And because everyone is everyone is part and parcel of Krishna, again, like Dhruv Maharaj, we have to go back to the source. We have to go back to Krishna, because when we are connected to Krishna, all those anarthas are going, then we are then being, what will happen, especially even just the name, like we start getting the good qualities. We you know, when we're talking about the ruchi and bliss and going higher and higher, then when we connect to our loved ones, it's not from a place of attachment,
it's from a place of us being connected to Krishna, then we're able to give that, like exactly what a spiritual master does, think what they do, yeah? They connect to Krishna, so when we come in contact with them, we get that Krishna consciousness, and that's what we're supposed to give out, and that's real love and real bliss. It's because the relationships are not working, is because we're acting from a place of conditioning. We're acting from whatever samskara has been put inside us, especially husband-wife relationship. They're gonna, even child mother, those relationships are very, they're the grounding. That's why they say that, children need so much love, like especially in the first 5 years of their life. They just need love. They don't need anything else. They don't need us to tell them off. They don't need us to correct them, anything. They just need love. Even we should never even say no to them, because then if they're doing something wrong, we should distract them. But we shouldn't say that word no to them, because actually then we're putting in lots of different samskaras in for them. And it's because of our conditioning. That's why when like Srila Prabhupada talks about conditioned souls, it means that we haven't done that in our, we haven't deconditioned ourselves. So, for example, if someone said to you from a conditioning point of view, your conditioning is you're going to be a woman, you're always going to serve your husband, or you're always going to serve, even though there's goodwill in all these things, that's been put in there for you, but it's still a samskara until you attach to Krishna, and then that free flow of love comes, and then it's different. Then the love is really coming. Then it doesn't matter if someone is horrible to you, if someone is nice to you, if someone is whatever, but that flow comes because you're connected to Krishna, and then it's just unconditional love, like what a spiritual master gives. Like, even if if you say to spiritual master, I'm not going to, they still love you, they still care about you. It's more unconditional. It's because their love is rooted in Krishna. Therefore, whatever you're linked to, that then gets poured out. So even if you look at why do people try to connect even through meditation, is because once they're connected, it's like a power, it's like an electricity bulb or whatever. Once it's plugged in, then the love is flowing. But it's the problems start when it's conditional, and we want something from someone. So like, for example, a dog, a cat, they're not going to speak back to us. That's why we say that, whereas, when we're in a relationship, we're coming from a place of, I have unmet needs. And normally, if you go back into psychology, or this is just even modern psychology, it says that for some reason, somewhere, the conditioning with the parent didn't happen properly. So even that's why we have all these different all these different prayers as soon as a child is born, to help them elevate further and further. And if they get stuck in one, so say for example, my mum was really horrible to me, and then I always remember that. So any relationship that comes, I always take it back to my mum or my dad or my something from my childhood. I always take it back. And then if the spouse acts in the same way, or the child acts in the same way, our wound gets triggered, and therefore loving becomes harder, because our wound is triggered. And then we think, okay, we can't trust this person, because just like that thing happened in my childhood, this is going to happen again. Someone is scratching that wound. It's just, and actually, in a way, you should be thankful to that person that they're making you go to that place, so that you can go and heal that wound. It's normally love. I think in modern day, relationships are so fragile, because unfortunately, the way that Kali Yuga is, the parent can't give the child the love that it needs. And whereas if you look at like traditionally old relationships, the mother used to always be present for the child. If the child was sad, crying, the mother would nurture the child. Where now, who's got time? Everybody's working, and the child is left with the baby minder. So the emotional need of the child has not been met, and then they get older, and all of a sudden they're in a relationship, and then the relationship can't work because they haven't had that nurturing from the primary caregiver. And I think Dhruv Maharaj's story really, really explains, and there's so much, especially like the fact that he's getting traumatized by his stepmom. I mean, that's trauma. To say to a child, you can't sit on your father's lap. For a child, that's absolute trauma. Like, even if you just look at it from any angle, like modern angle, and I think that's why love is so difficult, because we haven't been able to attach in a secure way to our primary caregiver. And then what happens is that you have a void inside you. And so every time you feel like, especially if your parents have been cruel to you for any reason, or someone very close in your childhood, then what happens? It creates like a vacuum. I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable. So you yourself are thinking these things about yourself. And therefore, that's what you will attract. I'm not loved. All those situations that make you feel I'm not enough, I'm not lovable. And that's when we look for spiritual practice. Then we start asking those questions of who am I, what am I? And then when you connect to Krishna, so instead of in that hole, instead of putting like a person and thinking, okay, this is the person I'm going to love, I'm going to attach everything to this person. Instead of that, you either put yourself and you give yourself love, because when you yourself are full, then you can give, or you put Krishna in the center. And that's the same, essentially, because Paramatma is within you anyway. You're just giving love to yourself first. And once you give love to yourself, all those other relationships around you, you will feel love from them, because you need the person that's not feeling the love needs to give love to that their soul. And it's really like, there's so much research done about this now, especially more than ever, is that the self, and I think this verse is actually talking about this also, the Atma, the body, we need to love ourselves. And even just through practice of chanting, one of the things, like we're building a relationship with the Lord, we're inviting the Lord into our life, because the main relationship is with him. And once we put him in there, all the other relationships become easy. It just happens, like you just have to practice it. Everything is because people have been so used to getting hurt, because, and it, like I say, I think it starts from conditioning, from very and the deeper the wound, if we feel like we're not lovable, if we haven't had that love displayed to us by parents, especially parents, then naturally we're always going to be looking to attract the same kind of person to us that's not going to give us love. So therefore, we first have to work on ourselves, and then once you change inside, so if you don't love yourself, how do you kind of expect? So if you don't do that Krishna consciousness work yourself, if you don't do that loving yourself, how can you expect someone else to love you? So that's one of the kind of, it's a little bit modern, it's not so, but essentially that's what Krishna consciousness does. It teaches us that our relationship is with Krishna, and then we start filling our cup. There's only one way to fill your cup, that's spiritually. All the material problems we have in our life can only be solved by spiritual medicine, basically. So once we start chanting, eventually we get to that point, we start loving ourselves. When we love ourselves, then we also can love from others. Because otherwise, if we don't love ourselves and those relationships are hard, it's because the other person can feel like subconsciously that actually we don't love ourselves, and therefore they're draining their energy, and they're more likely to move away from us, because they're not. The best relationship is that two partners both are chanting, and then they're both filling each other's cup. Then you've got something to help each other. You've got that sustenance, you've got that love, they've got that love, and then you can bring love to the table. If one is depleted, the other one is keep pouring, and then eventually they will deplete. And that's why you have this, I think, imbalances in relationship, because it's got to be both parties that do it. And then obviously,
we being practicing devotees, we have to keep ourselves full, because when we go out in the real world, nobody else is chanting. If if we're lucky, we'll be around people are chanting. So most people are empty. They're just taking from us all the time. You have to realize what's happening on an energetic level. They're taking, like, I don't know, if you started chanting, more people are coming to you. I would assume at your work, and more people are attracted to you. It's because you've got something they haven't got. They're trying to take that from you. So you have to keep filling yourself, or telling them, if they say to you, okay, so what's your secret, basically, then you say, I'm chanting, and then you get them to chant. So then they're not draining your reserves as well. We get I think, I don't know if anyone else is
Hare
experiencing
Krishna.
fatigue and tired, because they'll be attracting a lot of people that, especially if you work, like some of us are, like, I know some people in this school are like teachers and nurses, and we're always giving energy to everybody, even in our family. So if you've got the father or the mother, if the children are not chanting all the time, your chanting is going into your children as well. So naturally we will feel a little bit depleted until we rechant again. So I don't know if that helps answer the question, but that's sometimes how I see
Yes,
it.
Mataji. Yes, Mataji. I get it, Mataji, because I have seen a lot of change within me after I came into Krishna consciousness, and the surroundings automatically change. So very nicely explained, Mataji. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the session. Hare Krishna. Beautiful, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, very beautiful. Okay, Jahna Kanya Mataji. Sorry, Mataji. Jahna Kanya Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Last but not least. Is Induluka Mataji there, no? I never.
Mataji left.
Okay, yes. Who needs AI? I think you're like a human library, and we watch you grow from the time we start. You were so anxious at times and wanting to get it right. And look at you today. You're amazing. How you know your stuff so well. You're reeling it off your fingertips. So which is really nice to hear you. There was talk about time as well, how we spend our time. And time waits for no one. If we can spend 12 of us spend listening to you and got captured so well, listen to beautiful kata, that's one way of blossoming. So I can actually think of an analogy of you, that you like one of these humble buzzing bee. You are jumping from blossoming beautiful scented fragrant flowers and collecting all the honey. And then afterwards, you get a bit tired, as Bumblebee does, and you go looking for the honey that you stored. But at times you find that you cannot open the jar because you're so tired.
Yeah.
And so you get into the jar, and of course it's sticky honey. You get caught in that honey, and you're stuck. But you're relishing the joy of it. And who is creating all these beautiful things for you is Krishna. And you talked about Krishna being in the center, and Krishna is the person. We tend to do the things that we think we're good at and we think we're best at, and we're doing it for other people. That's all well and good, but a bit of it. But we forget about Krishna. We're not thinking, oh, Krishna gave me this beautiful opportunity, and he's actually allowed me to take up that opportunity because he trusts me, and he knows I'm going to make good of it. That's a bit like you. Krishna trusted you, and you took up the opportunity, and you did very well. I watch you grow so well. It's so lovely to see you.
Oh,
And
that's just your mercy, Mataji. I mean, I'm just nothing. I mean, I've seen you in action and absolutely nothing.
you are, it's lovely, so beautiful to watch you. So this honeybee is buzzing with such good nourishment from Krishna, and that's you. You're well nourished, and you can deliver at the drop of a hat. And so Krishna is your body, and you really relish that relationship, which I can see when I see you and we have a conversation and you do talks here. At times in the past, I used to think, oh, I can't, I have to get up for work tomorrow. I have to go, you know. But you captured us. Even when I wanted a comfort break, I couldn't leave. It was so sweet listening to you.
That's not me. That is Krishna. That's inside you. That's Krishna inside you.
So my comfort break had to be put aside, and I got even more comfortable. I must say that each and every point that you made, you stuck to the point. You covered so much. You give us the meaning of it, and the connection, how it works for us in the material world, living in this distressing world. And how we get caught in miseries and we sometimes can't get out. But you give us hope by telling us Krishna is there waiting, you know, and Krishna will free us from these difficulties. And all the points you cover it in a all round, contained and well nourishing circle, which was lovely. Thank you. I enjoy that.
And Mataji, Krishna's with you. Well, I've seen like I'm like, I know he's with you because I've seen you in your glory as well.
So time and action is so important, how you utilize that time. What kind of action do you choose to go and watch TV or ring a friend and you think you're having fun, just ringing them, having that conversation? Or do you come and sit into beautiful kathas like this and get connected with Krishna? Krishna is waiting. What are we waiting for? We're waiting to get deeper into the misery where we can't get out. So you're a human intelligent library. So we ask you any question, you come up with it, which is wonderful. Thank you. One little advice. I don't know if I'm allowed to give advice here.
All devotee mercy. You don't understand. I actually don't prepare or anything, so it's all just devotee mercy. I think it's just it's absolutely devotee mercy.
I will talk to you when I see you again.
Yes, I want to come. I do want to come to the man. I haven't because I'm doing like I do caps now, so it's just
you're at the school.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Haribo.
Haribo, thank you, Mataji. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Mataji.
So it was honey coated sweetness from Krishna.
Yeah. Very beautiful, very nice. Yes, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we have a few minutes past 10. So I think we shall conclude our session with Narasimha praise. Can I request anyone to lead Narasimha praise, please? Any other devotee? Kaushalya Mataji, would you like to do?
Yes, Prabhuji, but I don't know the at the front Ukram Viram Jwalantam. Do you have that script there?
I think yes, Mataji will just
And the last conclusions as well, because I'm not that.
Yes, Mataji. Gramveeram is on one. Okay, we'll just open that one.
If I make any mistakes, please humbly forgive me.
Mataji.
Ukram Viram Mahaveshnum Jwalantam Sharvato Mukham Nirsimham Narasimham Bishwam Bhadram Mitram Namamaham. Should I repeat again, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, you want to go? Okay.
Yeah. Ukram Viram Mahavishnum Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham Narashimham Bhishmamam Bahadram Mitram Namamaham. namami aham. Chalan. Jaya Narasimha, Shri Narasimha, Jaya Jaya Narasimha Deva, Pralad, Jaya Padma, Mukha Padma, bring her, Jaya Namaste Narasimhaya Praladalad Dayani Hiranyakashi Bhubashaha Shilakanta Lakalaye.
Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlada Hiranyakashipu
Sila
Nakalayani
itu
Narasimha Parato Narasimho Yato Yato Yametato Narasimha Bahi Narasimho Hridaya Narasimho Narasimhamadin Sharanam Prapate.
itu Narasimha Parato Narasimho Yato Yato Amitato Narasimho Bahe Narasimho Hridaya Narasimho Narasimha Badim Saranam Prapade.
Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Atpuda Shringham Dalita Hiranyakashibu Tanu Bringham Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare.
Avakara Kamala Bare Nakam Abhuta Sim Shringam Da Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshawadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Re Jai Jagadisha Re Jai Jagadisha Re
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare.
Keshavadrita
Keshavadrita
Narahari
Harirupa
Rupa
Jai
Jaya
Jagadisha Hare
Jaya
Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare
Narasimhadev Jayo Narasimhadev
Narasimhadev
Jayo Narasimhadev Jayo Narasimhadev
Jaya Narasimhadev 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 Jaya Narasimhadev
Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj
Jaya Prahlad
Prahlad
Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
जय श्री श्री विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंहदेव भगवान की
Jai.
भक्त शिरोमणि श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की
Jai,
जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की
Jai,
Jai.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
Jai.
Jai.
all glories to the simple devotee,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
all glories to the simple devotee,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
all glories to the simple devotee.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Gaur Premanande.
Hare
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 Bol.
Bol.
Very beautiful.
Loud
Hare
Hari
Bol.
Bols to Radha Sevika Mataji.
Yes, yeah, can we all unmute and do it, please?
Hare
Hari
Hare Bol.
Bol,
Hare
Hare
Bol.
Bol.
Hare Bol.
Hari Bol. Very good. Okay, thank you so much, dear devotees. So if you're all happy, we shall conclude our session.
Vancha
Vancha
kalpatarubhyascha
Akalvasya
Kripa Sindhu
Vasiddhaveva
Vyaveva.
Patitanam Pavanebhyo
Namo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Namo
Namaha.
Ananta Koti
Koti
Vaishnava
Vaishnavrinda Ki
Jai.
Jai. Srila
Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
Ki
ki
Jai.
Jai.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank
Thank
you,
you
all
so
devotees.
much.
Thank you, Radha Sevika Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everybody. Hari
Everyone.